Hi students. Today I am going to represent about the energy diplomacy policy and the security issue in South Caucasus region, the case of Azerbaijan. And here is the main outline that I'm going to represent. It's like the theoretical approach to the energy resources and the today energy diplomacy policy of the Azerbaijan, the role of Azerbaijan in the European energy policy, especially in the contemporary European energy policy, and some kind of conclusion and the recommendation I am going to give about that. And basically, today I would like to mention that in today's globalized world, maintenance of energy security stands on the agenda of each nation state. As I mentioned in the previous seminar that the states now desire energy security as the same interest with the military and the economic security. When we are talking about the energy policy mainly related with the neoclassical realism, because the main idea and the element of the neoclassical realism basically concentrated on the providing the national interest of each nation state on behalf of their maintenance and also the balance of power within the international arena. At the same time, the national resources are the main element of the maintenance of the domestic security and the foreign policy. If you have a successful domestic security, it means that you have also successful energy security policy, and you are also able to implement the major methods as well as the elements of the foreign policy issue in the contemporary world. So the energy resources are the power elements according to the neoclassical realism. So states right now comprehend the pivotal impact of the energy on both national security as also the foreign policy. Therefore, they can be considered as an indispensable triangle within the policy of each nation state. In order to realize the importance of energy policy, as well as the security issue, it could be better to trace back to the historical period, because there is some kind of fundamental principle regarding the efficiency and the diversification of the energy resources in each countries. And the energy security right now is utterly important for each nation state in terms of ensuring its national security. In this way, the states strive to take the strategic steps and involve far more investment in their countries in order to provide their national security necessities. So, Karen Stegen, there is a specific model regarding to the Karen Stegen energy model are exclusively treated as element to force the country. If you compel the countries or the force any kind of countries in a coercive way, it can be considered as a coercive energy diplomacy. Right now, the Russia mainly implementing the coercive diplomacy, especially the coercive energy model, which is not relevant for the other countries and based on the zero-sum strategy. Second model of energy is called energy weapon. There is energy weapon and also energy instrument. There is a big difference between the energy weapon as well as the energy instrument. If you are using the energy as a weapon, it means that you are going to implement the policy in a coercive way and force the other countries and the consumers to do something coercively. However, energy instrument or the energy statecraft is more inclined to be persuasive and collaborative, because you are trying to enact as well as you are trying to implement the energy policy in a more positive way, which based on the positive some strategy in international policy. For example, Turkey, Russia, and the European Union always try to manage the energy environmental policy and also the energy diplomacy regarding the other countries, and not using the energy as a weapon like Russia, and basically inclined to be collaborative in this energy relation as well. So energy weapons equal to more assertive way, but the energy instrument is inclined to be more persuasive and collaborative and based on the positive sum strategy in international political arena. So here is the triadic nexus compassed by me, and energy, it means that based on the triadic nexus. Triadic nexus, it's like the implementation of the energy policy in a successful way based on the implementation of the national security as well as the foreign policy in a more sufficient way as well. So the energy resources mainly related with the national security as well as the foreign policy of each nation state. As you saw that here is the national power. National power in energy sector is determined by geographical and any other technological determinism, economic capacity of each countries, as well as the political agenda and the policy and the strategic decision of each nation states right now. Here is, the state must have the energy resources within its territory. State also should protect the border and the securitization of the energy resources within and beyond its territory. The state must be able to extract their economically, especially rational, by using available technological resources and need to use the energy resources at an affordable way. The state must have the economic resources for the developing the extraction, production, refining, and the export of the resources in its territory. Responsible decision maker of the state must have the political will to exploit and export resources. For example, in these cases, we can give the consumer states like the Azerbaijan and other countries, Russia and the other countries which is well off with the alternative energy resources in the European countries. And here is the main the role of energy in foreign policy and the national security issue. Energy is considered as the main statecraft and also the instrument of achieving its foreign policy in a successful way, indicator of the national prosperity and underwrites the domestic security of each nation state having national resources. If you have the relevant national resources, it cannot mean that you are a successful country. You can be successful in the case of implementation of the energy policy in a successful way, which mainly related with the national security and also the foreign policy issue as well. Energy security as variable. Right now we do know that the European Union countries is mainly related to the diversification of the energy resources and based on the effectiveness, efficientness, as well as the affordability of the energy resources within its territory, as well as to protect their borderization, to protect its like the energy resources, and also the securitization issue within the European Union countries. And right now, that's why they're providing the sustainability, efficiency, and the security of the energy resources is considered as the main agent of the European Union energy policy. According to the Jan Kalic and the David Goldwyn, here is the key principle of the energy security. Energy security key principle is that the first principle subjects to the diversification of the energy supplies that can be achieved by broad access to the alternative energy resources, and then the establishment of the newfangled energy platforms and infrastructure in order to develop them sufficiently. Therefore, the diversification of the energy resources is paramount both for energy security as well as the competitiveness of the energy resources in the energy bazaar. The second crucial point premises on the creation of far more stable and well-functioning energy market in order to sell energy products at affordable prices. Hence, to provide the stability of the global market can enhance the accessibility and affordability of energy products among consumers as well as the exporters. Then the security margin also to consider the main principle of the energy resources, because the security issue mainly related with the domestic or the internal security and the foreign policy of the each nation states. If you have a successful energy policy, it means that you have also successful foreign policy issue and also the national security one. High quality information regarding the utilization of the energy resource in an affordable way, raising the self self-awareness regarding the affordability and the effective use of the energy resources within the country is considered the main element of the energy security as well. At the same time, the research development and innovative breakthrough within energy spectrum in terms of the preserving of energy resources is considered the fifth main principle of the energy security as well. So that's why right now Azerbaijan also try to improve the effective implementation of the research and development, especially we do have some kind of lack of energy mechanized system, as well as the like the centralized energy mechanism and the administrative approach in the alternative energy resources cases. That's why Azerbaijan mainly try to involve the other foreign experts, especially the Western expert, mainly focusing on the implementation as well as the setting up the construction and the infrastructure for the research and development field. Energy diplomacy of Azerbaijan, energy security of Azerbaijan. As we know that it's undeniable fact that the energy security is considered one of the main priorities of Azerbaijan within its internal as well as the foreign policy agenda. We do have the rich traditional energy resources. As you know that the Azerbaijan is mainly focusing on the traditional or the conventional energy resources rather than the alternative or the renewable energy resources. It means that we need to go beyond a little bit to the alternative energy resources to provide the same balance utilization of the conventional as well as the alternative energy resources at the same time for the preserving the energy resources on behalf of the development of the next generation as well. So we do have the efficient geographical location providing utilization of the natural resources as well. The base of the economic and the social stability in the country mainly concentrated of the shipment or the preserving of the energy resources as well. Azerbaijan, we know that is the net energy exporter, and the crude oil accounts for the 1/3 of the consumption. However, mainly the natural gas production accounts for the 2/3, 26% of Azerbaijan total domestic energy consumption as well, and which is considered Azerbaijan's socio-economic development and the government revenues as well. The basic principles of the energy security of Azerbaijan, which is almost same with the policy agenda of the European Union as well, ensuring reliable power supply with strategically important facility, safety of energy pipelines, because the security of the energy pipeline via the secure energy project is considered the main element of the energy security as well. At the same time, mainly the diversification of the energy resources, as I meant that we mainly focus on the conventional energy resources, but we need to go a little bit beyond in terms of the implementation of the energy infrastructure for the alternative energy resources as well, and at the same time efficient use of energy resources like the economy in an economic way, because we for the next generation, for the economic development of the next generation, we do need the balanced use of the both alternative and the conventional energy resources in the country as well. As you know from the pie chart, that this source mainly coming from the U.S. Energy Information Administration based on the International Energy Agency, and here is the natural gas constituting up to 68% of the general consumption, and the petrol 30% of the general consumption. We do have the alternative energy resources basically. However, you see that hydropower mainly makes up for the 1%, but we are able to develop it with the involvement of the foreign experts in order to set up the foreign energy infrastructure, or the cutting edge structure energy infrastructure, as well as the construction in the country as well. So others it can be mentioned wind, solar power, which is constituted of the first the 1% of the general consumption in terms of the alternative energy resources. Potential for the renewable energy resources. We do have, as you know, that the Baku is mainly the Sumgayit upstream places district, mainly can be a little bit famous for the wind power, and which is constituted up the major part of the pie chart, as you see from the pie chart as well in here in the slide. And the next one can be considered the solar power. As you know that we do have the eight climate, that's why the construction of the main alternative energy infrastructure in the country is relevant, but we do not have the centralized energy mechanism in order to implement this infrastructure as well as the agenda. At the same time, compared to the alternative conventional energy resources, we do not have the exact energy agenda regarding the alternative energy resources as well. And where is the, in terms of the domestic limitation that we are facing right now, the lack of infrastructure for the flexible use of the renewable energy resources is mentioned the main basic one of the main problem of the Azerbaijan in terms of the utilization of the alternative energy resources. Then we do have the shortage of the production of the alternative energy resources. We do have mainly dependency on the traditional energy resources, which is the exhaustible, rather than the alternative resources, which is pretty inexhaustible. Then we do have the lack of green energy expertise in the domestic market, foreign investment, and the technology in the field of alternative energy resources. And also we do have the lack of renewable energy legislation as well. Another important reason that coming from the foreign or the external limitation that we are facing right now, which is the Russian dilemma. Russia is always trying to influence the geographical area of Azerbaijan in terms of the energy, social, and economic policy. Then we do have the Nagorno-Karabakh problem with Armenia that always just put some kind of barriers in terms of the implementation of any kind of projects and etc., because the Karabakh region is also considered the main geographical important area for Azerbaijan. That's why in some cases the European Union cannot comply with the Azerbaijan because of this kind of problem, especially the Nagorno-Karabakh problem, which is considered the frozen conflict. But however, right now it's also the ongoing process that we are going to deal with that. And here is some kind of possible solution and the recommendation. Right now, we do need to improve the security of Azerbaijan transit and the export pipeline network. At the same time, we do need the diversification and the security of energy resources by the implementation of the both conventional and the alternative energy resources. Effective, sustainable, and the secure utilization of both traditional and alternative resources can path a green way for Azerbaijan in terms of the socio-economic development of the country. We also need to reduce the demand for oil and gas resources. Right now, you know that we do know that the Turkey has the huge dependence on the gas resources, not only in terms of the Azerbaijan, but also from the Russia as well. European Union have the, right now, in 5 years ago, European Union has the 72 or 73% of the gas dependency from Russia. But right now, EU also need the diversification of energy resources via the secure energy pipelines, which can be involved by the TAP and TANAP projects of Azerbaijan as well. So, developing the comprehensive energy demand management policy. We need the comprehensive energy demand management policy. Right now, Azerbaijan doesn't have the demand policy, which is quite effective and also sufficient for the country as well. According to the strategic roadmap of the Republic of Azerbaijan, nowadays the modernization and the expansion projects on alternative energy resources is the basic element of the and also the main part of the strategic roadmap as well. Then the privatization of the power plants. In terms of the privatization of the power plant, we can mention the infrastructure in the setting up the infrastructure in terms of the alternative energy resources, and we need to also provide the privatization of the small power plants in the field of alternative energy resources in the country as well, which can be quite successful as well for the future development of the countries. And here is the role of Azerbaijan in the European Union energy policy. Azerbaijan is considered as a reliable and a secure partner for the European Union. At the same time, Azerbaijan will provide the harmonization of the European Union EU energy bazaar. Then Azerbaijan will be able to diversify the energy routes of the EU. At the same time, its high hydrocarbon resources will be used for its own security and also the EU security. Then, main direction of the European Union Energy Union strategy. Here is the main direction, as it's almost the same with the Azerbaijan energy policy agenda: solidarity and the energy security, mainly the harmony, which is the pretty important element of the EU energy agenda. Diversification of energy resources, that EU would like to lessen its gas dependency from Russia as well. That's why EU also refers to the alternative energy resources in different part of the country, like in different part of the member countries. Competitiveness, research and development and innovation, which is quite successful in the EU. That's why the Azerbaijan, by the implementation of the TAP and TANAP project, would like to involve in the research R&D project of the EU as well. And here is the three main pillars of the EU energy policy, which, as I mentioned before, that basically concern on the competitiveness, security of the supply, and the sustainable development of the energy resources as well. And here is the successful South Caucasus pipeline or Southern gas corridor. The TANAP and the TAP are the basic branch, the famous energy branch pipelines of the Southern gas corridor. As you see, the Southern gas corridor from Azerbaijan till Georgia, the energy will be shipped through the Southern gas corridor, then will be shipped via Turkey with the famous TANAP energy pipeline. When it's directed to the EU, TANAP will be turned to be TAP project by directly just passing the Albania, then directly shipped delivered to the other European countries. And the route map of the TANAP, which is constituting up the 8050 kilometer, and also the TANAP 878 kilometer energy project, which is the main part of the Southern gas corridor or the South Caucasus pipeline as well, as you see from the here. And there is also some kind of information that would like to mention here. And how will Azerbaijan benefit from entering the EU market? Azerbaijan basically will be involved successfully in the EU energy market. Azerbaijan will harmonize its energy bazaar as well by involving in the EU energy market. At the same time, Azerbaijan will achieve the modernization of the energy resources. Azerbaijan will ensure the efficient operation of the energy mechanism. Then Azerbaijan will be able to build up the economic partnership with the other European country. At the same time, Azerbaijan will be able to basically involve in different energy project with the Balkan states as well, especially Albania and Bulgaria and other countries. Azerbaijan will be able to provide effective environmental management procedures involving in different EU energy initiatives, because EU has the energy agenda for 2020 years, 2030 years, and the 2050 years as well. Like the 50 years energy agenda, and Azerbaijan will be able to complete with the policy of the EU energy bazaar for the liberalization of the energy market at the same time. Then what about the EU, and how will the EU benefit from the energy collaboration with Azerbaijan? Transportation security from Azerbaijan is of the great importance to Europe at the same time, and Azerbaijan will also able to EU will be able to lessen its dependency, especially the gas dependence on Russia. Will harmonize its energy market by involving the South Caucasus countries as well, especially Azerbaijan, then Georgia, Georgia will get the gas via TAP in a secure way, trans-Adriatic pipeline through Turkey directly to the European countries, and will be able to diversify its energy resources as well. And because the transportation, especially the secure transportation of the energy resources from those regions, will be the higher importance of the EU, and also which can be important for the socio-economic development for the Azerbaijan and also for the EU. And here is some conclusion. Basically, right now, what kind of procedures that Azerbaijan would like to undertake? First of all, although the country has made some progress in the field of small hydro, solar, and wind, but there is, however, the lack of evidence to support the widespread use of various alternative energy resources. Azerbaijan also has the lack of energy legislative in the field of alternative energy resources. Azerbaijan is a main exporter of oil and mainly gas resources, however, which is exhaustible resources. We do also need to refer to the inexhaustible energy resources in terms of the effective and the balanced utilization of the alternative energy resources as well. Azerbaijan has also set up new energy infrastructure over alternative energy resources by involving the Western experts to work over this field successfully. So at the same time, Azerbaijan should have to increase the collaboration with foreign partners in the field of exploration, refining, development, extraction, and the transmission and the distribution of the energy resources in an affordable way. Azerbaijan is also able to provide the energy resources at an affordable prices to the European Union. Azerbaijan will achieve also the liberalization of the energy market by joining or involving in the European energy market with the successful implementation of the TANAP and the TAP projects as well. So here is some kind of reference if you need any kind of information, or if you would like to search more about the energy diplomacy and the foreign policy of Azerbaijan, you can directly email to me to get the additional materials in these cases. And then thank you so much. If you have any kind of question, please reach me via email or on Facebook. Thank you so much. Have a nice reading and also listening. Bye.